Hi everyone. This evening, I just have this really interesting topic that a friend of mine posted, and I thought I would cover it because it's a question that has come up repeatedly and from different people as well. So the question is, should I invest in Singapore property or should I invest in overseas property? And I've been getting questions, from people who perhaps have either sold their HDB or looking to sell their HDB, and they have, maybe sold it for a profit and they are wondering what to do next. People that may have received an inheritance and are thinking how best to make good use of their money, or people in general that just want to love to invest in property. A lot of Asians like to do that anyway. And I see some of you coming on live. That's great. So yeah, the question, once again, the $1 million question today is, should I invest in Singapore property or overseas property? And I think it really started because I was sharing my own journey that many years ago, more than 10 years ago, I think like most Singaporeans, my thought is I stay in a HDB, be very frugal, save my money, save my bonuses, don't anyhow spend, and then at the same time try to save up a deposit, a down payment to buy a condominium. And then if I achieve that, actually I'll be really happy, right? I don't know when I might be able to achieve it then, but with my wife and I working together, hopefully we would buy the condo, rent it out, collect rent, and then retire happily. So that was our goal, so I thought. And then I got myself educated. I learned how to invest professionally in property. And I started to realize that, hey, even if I executed that strategy, I could be in my 60s or 70s, and I will still not have enough passive income for me to retire comfortably. So that actually gave me a big wake-up call and made me really seek out mentors, study this topic of property investing in a big way. Also, for those of you who know me, I don't come from a very rich family. So I think a big passion of mine is how can I also provide for my family in a way that's sustainable. I don't have to be super wealthy, stay in the biggest house or drive the biggest cars, but I want to create a life that's comfortable for my wife, for my kids. And I'm sure a lot of you want to do the same as well. So this a friend of mine was asking, he was looking to buy a condominium, and maybe it's about 1.4 mil. And I think nowadays most condominiums are easily 1 mil and up. And he was asking, what are my thoughts on that? What will happen to the passive income? So I asked him, how much mortgage are you going to take? And he said maybe about 1 mil out of 1.4 mil, which is a 71% loan. Right. Okay. First of all, I want to give a disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor, so all these are all my personal thoughts. If you need to seek financial advice, please look for your own advisor. Okay. But I'm just sharing as a friend my own experience and my own thoughts, experience in my investing journey. In fact, we are buying a property in the UK right now, and I've been doing so for the last 8 years. So I think it comes off the back of that, me pursuing this passive income strategy as well. So back to the condo in Singapore. Doesn't matter where it is, it's going to cost more than 1 million. And I can see quite a number of you. Hi, post your questions, comments. This 1 million property taking a 70% loan of 1 million. Guess how much is it going to cost in mortgage every month, right? So let's take a look. And I asked him, how much do you think the rent is going to be? And he said, hopefully 3,500 to 4,000. Okay, so let's take a look. If we just do a simple mortgage calculator and see how much mortgage you will have to pay. So let's see, say it's a new purchase of a condo. Just a second, I think it's a bit laggy. Okay, under construction. And the loan is 1 million. Is that the right number of zeros? It's correct, right? Okay, I'll just make this a bit bigger so you all can see. Yeah. And interest rate, one of my clients was just telling me that he managed to get an interest rate quote of 1.5%, which is really, really low, by the way. If you are keen about whether you should get a fixed rate loan or a floating rate loan, leave a question in the comments and I can cover that on another session. Let's look at how much the mortgage payment on this is every month. It is a whopping $4,000, right? So to my friend who is watching, if you're hoping to get 3,500 to 4,000 of rent a month, and you're paying a mortgage of 4,000 a month outgoing, It's a simple math that you're not going to get passive income out of this, right? If you're lucky to rent it out at 4,000, then you're basically breaking even on paper. Actually, not even on paper, because 4,000 money coming in immediately, you're paying the bank 4,000. What about all your other running costs of the property? So you're actually negatively cash flowing, meaning you're taking money out of your pocket just to subsidize your tenant to live in your brand new property. And I say this with a lot of pain, because I invested in a property in Penang, I think about 9-10 years ago, and I'm still doing that every month. My property in Penang, cost us maybe about 6,000 in mortgage every month, ringgit, thankfully, but still a lot of money. And guess how much my tenant is paying me every month? It's a sea view 20th floor property, and he's paying only 1,500 ringgit. So can you imagine? I'm paying money every month to subsidize my tenant to live in that place. I mean, I will live there myself in a retirement, but unfortunately, that's not what we want to do in our lifestyle for now. So it really comes back to the question, right? Should I invest in Singapore? Should I invest overseas? Which is better? Which is the right answer? It goes back to, what is your strategy? So if your strategy is, for example, is it capital appreciation or is it passive income? And the important thing is, we live in such a globalized world now. Having absolute clarity on what your strategy is, and then going to where your strategy works best, right? So some people say, let's talk about capital appreciation first, right? So Singapore, and people think we invest in Singapore, hopefully we can have capital appreciation over the long run. Maybe we can refinance, or we can sell the property, get some profits. I would say yes, it's possible. Though, if you think about it, would we be seeing the same rates of capital appreciation like we saw in the past? We talk about our parents, our grandparents' generation buying HDB, and the price, like, wow, they buy HDB for like what, 30,000, and then now it's worth a few 100,000. Is it possible that we will see that same kind of growth in the next 10, 20 years? The answer is clearly no, right? Because the government has already put in a lot of cooling measures, stamp duties, debt service, TDSR, debt servicing ratio, and all these things. Why are they doing that? Is to prevent the market from going up and down too quickly, because that's when a lot of people get burnt in the market corrections. So what the government is doing is to, and once again, this is my personal opinion, it's to allow property to grow at 2 to 3% per year, very stable over time. And that's ideal. Of course, whether or not it happens is still a question mark. But what is very clear is we're not going to see the same amount of capital growth that we've seen in the past, right? Even with the capital growth strategy, a tip that I want to share with you is, think about the end in mind. What is the end in mind that you're looking for? Is it to, perhaps sell the property, cash out the profits, and then live off the profits for the rest of your life? And then depending on how much you cash it out and how long more, you have to live, that you have to stretch that dollar, right? Such that you can fund your retirement. So it's a big question mark. For me, the way I see it is different. I prefer to invest in an asset such that I actually don't have to cash it out, so to speak, to sell it in order to fund my retirement. But I buy a property that is in an area that works very well for passive income, meaning the rent minus the outgoing cost still gives me a profit. So, and I build that amount. If one property gives me, say, $500 of that, and then in retirement, how much money do I need in retirement? Is it 2,000, 3,000, 4,000? And then I reverse engineer and work backwards how many of those properties I need to buy in order to get to that, right? And what do I need to do in order to grow the amount of my investment pot so that I can reach that, right? So there's a plan. For some of us, I spoke to some of my friends as well. They say, oh, I have a 10-year, 15-year, 20-year plan to invest and to retire and build my passive income. So that's great. And that's the idea. You want to think about it over time to be able to build that up. And guess what? Even if I'm old, and the properties are still generating that passive income, I don't have to sell it, right? And that's the idea of, when we talk about born poor, die rich, we are also, why I choose to invest in property is you're really building generational wealth. It's an asset, you can touch, physically you can touch. It's a hard asset that you can pass on to the next generation and leave a legacy for them. So That's one thing to think about. I'd like to show you perhaps one of the properties that I have, which is in the UK. But some people have been asking, okay, tell me more about it sounds very good, but I can't imagine what it's like. Tell me more. So this is a very typical property. It's actually in Liverpool. Any Liverpool fans here? Just give a shout in the comments. Or if you're from Man U, I also have properties in Manchester, by the way. So whether you're a Manchester or Liverpool fan, it works in both ways. This property, as you can see, price is about £150,000, maybe about 250k Sing thereabouts. If you can see, one look very koyak, one look quite nice, right? Koyak for our non-Singaporean friends, it basically means in bad condition. So what I do is I basically look for properties that are in a rundown condition, and I transform them from houses to homes. So you can see on the left, this was a terrible condition, and then this on the right, a nice kitchen, right? Another view of that. And yeah, the bedrooms. So yeah, in terms of numbers, let's see what the numbers look like. Monthly rent, about almost £1,000 a month. Expenses, about 100. So the net rent or income you get a year is about 17,000 Sing, or about 1,500 Sing a month. And this is for one property, right? So remember, and then the yield is maybe about gross yield about 7.5%. Net yield, meaning what you actually put in your pocket, is about 6.7%, which is a really good return. I wanted to show you another property that I had. This is on our website, by the way. It's bondpoordirich.com. So for those of you who may not be able to see so clearly here, you can check it out there, right? Just go to our website and check it out. This is a property in Liverpool. Another property in Liverpool. Not because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I go to where the strategy works, remember? So this is pictures of it all done up. So you can see the kitchen, a bit of a communal area to eat, some of the bedrooms. And these are not furnished to hotel standard, right? It's a very comfortable. You think like IKEA, a place where I would like to live in myself. So once again, the numbers, 940 a month, about 1,000 in rent. Very similar to the previous deal, right? As you can see, it's very cookie cutter. So all my deals that I buy, I like my investments to be boring. And then some of you might have heard me say that before, because with the money that I get, then I can live my lifestyle. I can do the more exciting things. Some people, when they invest, they think the opposite. The investments, when you invest in instruments that go up and down very quickly, be it in the stock market or Forex, wow, they're very exciting, but I'm not sure whether the returns are also as exciting, right? And more importantly, I found when I was investing in those things, I couldn't really sleep at night. But not to say that you can't make money, just that you probably need to have a very good system in order to do that well, right? Get yourselves educated as well. Interesting thing about these properties, one of my friends was saying, safe or not, this place. So of course, doesn't mean you buy any property in Liverpool is going to be safe. You need to get yourself educated, and buy a property. For us, we have a very strict selection criteria. All right, definitely there are risks. You buy property in Singapore also got risks, but about how can you mitigate those risks? So for us, one way to mitigate is we actually secure a corporate tenant, as you can see here, for 7 years. So it's 7 years of guaranteed rent. And then those of you who joined us on the video yesterday, we spoke about guaranteed rent, where it's the developer giving you the guaranteed rent, meaning they might sell you a very expensive property. From their profits, they guarantee the rent to you for 2 or 3 years at 6%, for example. And that's not a real guaranteed rent. The guaranteed rent we talk about here is a contract, an agreement signed with the company to say, I want to rent your property for the next 3, 5, 7 years. And that's how actually I have mitigated some of the risks. So some people ask me, hey, with COVID, with Brexit, how? Actually, very little impact. Thank God, there's very little impact. But it's also because we've been putting in place some of these strategies to mitigate the risk over the years. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should all move to Liverpool and buy properties there. In fact, some people always ask me, hey, you just went to the UK, when they see some of my postings or my videos. A lot of what I do it from here. So the reason why I'm doing such videos like this is to give people an idea, how to start thinking about it. If I wish somebody had told me this, whatever I'm sharing with you now, 10 years ago, to calculate about mortgage, is the property cash flowing? If so, I wouldn't have bought that property in Penang, and I'm still paying for it now. So that's one reason. The second reason is, for those people who want to perhaps think very seriously about learning how to invest or growing your money. I think there are one of two ways. For me, when I first started, I had no knowledge. I actually invested my monies with one of my friends who have already been investing for some years. So I sought out a mentor. I learned from him, and I also invested my monies, and he gave me a return on my money. 6% a year, for example, and that allowed me to build up my investing pot as well. So that's what I did. I also then started to learn. I went for courses, sought out mentors to learn professionally how to invest. Because it's very easy to be a property owner. It's not so easy to be a good property investor. And like we shared yesterday, if you think spending the time, effort is expensive, think about the price of ignorance. I'm still paying the price, for a bad investment. And for many of us, we've worked hard, we've saved our monies over the years. We want to make sure that when we invest, we get it right, because we don't have that many chances, right? Don't have that many investment pots. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have questions, continue to leave us questions on the chat. I'll be happy to share more videos on different topics. So this video, thanks to our friend today who shared this. I hope it has been useful for you, help you clarify some of your thoughts on building passive income for yourself, for your family. And I really applaud you for, at 10 p.m. on a Friday, you could be doing anything. For all of you who are on this video, amazing. You could be doing anything, but you're choosing to invest in yourself, spending this 15 minutes or so to learn one or two insights. And that's always my frame of mind when I watch YouTube videos or I read books. If I can just learn one thing, one tip that I can apply in my life that will make my life better, then I think it will have been a great use of time. Okay, so for those of you who haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, that would be a great way of supporting us, subscribing, liking this video, sharing with your friends. You'd like to find out more information, once again, you can check out our website, bornprodrich.com. Those of you who have my contact details, just reach out to me on Facebook, send me a message, send me a WhatsApp. I'll be happy to chat with you. Okay, so hope this has been helpful for you, and have a great weekend, everyone. Have a restful weekend, and take care.